一刷根39大林邦呀，当当当当啊巴扎呀扎呀。
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you so much for attending this session. How's everyone so far?
Great.
You're
Yeah,
great.
really good.
All right. Again, so welcome. My name is Ben. I'm from the Philippines. So for this session, I'll be sharing about cultivating diversified permaculture enterprises for a sustainable future. All right. This is very much connected to the previous session. I see a couple of people here who attended the session in breakout room number 6 about ethical economics of businesses. Right. So I'll be touching a few of the other issues that were mentioned there. So again, thank you so much for coming over. This is me in the morning in the farm. Right. This was actually shot 2 years after I started the farm, because the farm is a permaculture farm, and I started it during the pandemic. So the goal is to go back to the province, leave the city, leave the job in the city, live a sustainable lifestyle, live a permaculture lifestyle. And when I shot this photo, this was actually me realizing that money can't grow on trees. So that it was a realization for me at the time that yes, the ultimate goal was to be sustainable, make sure that whatever I need to sustain my lifestyle, my family's lifestyle, can be provided by the land. But yes, there are a couple of things that can be provided directly by the land. We still need to generate money, right, to pay for bills, pay for college education, right? Pay for a couple of other things that can be grown in the farm. All right. So this session is really more about my story on how I started the permaculture enterprises that allowed me to, build a business around permaculture. Okay. So the name of the farm that we started is called Habilin. Habilin Farm. So Habilin is a Filipino word which means to entrust. Right? So this farm is actually, the property is an old unmanaged idle property that's owned by the family. It's actually a heritage property. It's been with the family for over 5 generations, and I only had the opportunity to jumpstart it during the pandemic. Habilin because it was entrusted to me by the family. But aside from that, the deeper meaning of Habilin is revolves around being entrusted with nature. So nature has been entrusted to us, and you know how it is whenever something is entrusted to you, you really feel responsible to take care of it. So what I realized in permaculture, if you take care of nature, nature will take care of you in exchange. All right, so it's a 4-year-old permaculture farm, hopefully reaching a stage of mature system. But it's diversified. But what we were able to create were different diversified enterprises around the farm that's based in permaculture. All right, so before we continue, siguro probably we just to make it a little bit of fun. Would it be okay if we play a little game?
Sure.
All right. So this by the way is AI generated. So it's a picture or an illustration of what the diversified enterprise permaculture farm is. Right. So take a look at the picture closely. So what I want you to do is to list down as much permaculture enterprises as you can. All right? Count as many permaculture enterprises as you can. And we'll be doing this in the next 30 seconds. So there's going to be a counter. 30 seconds. Are you ready? All right. I'll be giving out the prize for the person who would be able to identify the most number of enterprises.
What's the prize?
Okay. The prize is ta-da-da! It's stationery from the Philippines. It's hardbound by bamboo cover on both sides, and a pen made out of bamboo also. All right. Oh, by the way, the image printed in front is laser printed jeepney. A jeepney is an iconic public utility vehicle in the Philippines, particularly in Manila. All right. All right. Are you guys ready? Good. So timer starts now. Last 5 seconds. All right. So, how many enterprises have you counted? Can you see a raise of hands of those people who counted more than 10? More than 10. One.
I was looking at the lower left.
More than 10.
Like a seal.
Anybody else? Anybody else more than 10? 2 people counted more than 10. Anybody who counted more than 20?
I didn't count. I didn't reach. I reached 17.
17. All right. Can you mention all 17?
Was that?
Can you mention all 17?
I can't remember. I was just counting.
Okay. So I'll just give the prize to you. Thank you.
I think there's more.
Can you at least mention a few of those that you have identified?
The animal integration. There is with the animals. There is milk. There is skin. There's meat. Then there is flowers. There is seeds. There is vegetable fresh produce. There is greenhouse nursery. And there's more. And there's fish pond. And then there is nursery. I said already. There is probably a home, like a guest house, like a homestay. There is like oil seeds, sunflower with oil seeds. And yeah, I think there's more. And microgreens.
We can go on the whole night.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot more.
A lot more.
There's harvest timber. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So there isn't really a scarcity of permaculture enterprises. It really depends on how creative we are and how sensitive we are with needs. Because an enterprise is always a response. It's always a solution to a problem. So as long as we're like keen in identifying a need, problem, or a need, we can always come up with an enterprise. Okay. So what I would be presenting to you for the next couple of minutes would be a framework that I have used to come up with the enterprises that I have developed as part of our enterprise ecology or ecosystem in the farm. And this is what I followed. And I'll be showing also a couple of examples on how other people have created their own enterprises around permaculture. So basically what I did, I just followed the permaculture framework. So it's like rather than designing a landscape, designing a garden, use permaculture principles, use permaculture ethics. It's the same thing. I use the same system design approach in creating or designing an enterprise. So using permaculture principles and ethics. So these are 4 P's, rather 5 P's. So the first P would be planet. So as we all know, it's all about caring for the planet. And coming from a permaculture background, it shouldn't be quite difficult for us to come up with an enterprise that cares for the earth. But again, if you want to differentiate ourselves from other enterprises, we need to be very creative as well. So what I have here in front of you right now are pictures of what we call a salakot. A salakot is a traditional hat from the Philippines. It's also an iconic heritage craft in the Philippines. It's still being used by the farmers. If you check out my Facebook account, I am always using and wearing a salakot hat. And this, by the way, is made out of bamboo. All right. So having an enterprise like this, so what we did, we tapped into the local resources. Those people, most of the time, people were old already. People who are known to have the skills of creating a salakot are over 60 years old. So what we did, we created a training workshop teaching younger people on how to create a salakot. And we turned this into a simple social enterprise. Right? So why is it caring for the earth? Because it promotes the use and the propagation and planting of bamboo, which is a sustainable source of raw materials, not just for this kind of handicraft, but also for other uses like construction, right? And as we all know, bamboo has so many ecological value. It grows really fast. It's something that we can harvest in like 5 years. It's good when it comes to carbon sequestration, saving water into the soil, and preventing soil erosion and water runoff. All right. So this is just one of the caring for the planet enterprise that we have created. Another example, this is an enterprise, a social enterprise founded by a friend, also in the Philippines. So it's the name of the enterprise is Green Space. Essentially, it's a waste collection and composting enterprise. So they connect and partner with businesses, collecting their compostable kitchen waste, right? And rather than getting other, let's say, the local government to collect it and throw it into the landfill, the company, Green Space, collects these compostable waste, they compost it, and give back the compost to the farmers. So the companies who donate their kitchen waste, they get a portion of the harvest of the farmers. The enterprise Green Space, they earn from the subscription fees being paid by their clients. So this is just another example. Another social enterprise in the Philippines is Bambike. Okay? Again, it's very much closely related to the Salakot enterprise that we have developed. But in this case, what their main product is the bamboo bike frame. Right? This is very cool because it is quite popular, especially for tourists. It commands a higher price compared to regular bike frames, but here you're paying for not just for the use of the bamboo, but for the promotion of the advocacy. So they customize bike frames depending on your size, on if you're into trail, into mountain biking, if you're a road cyclist, they can build a bike for you using bamboo. And in addition to that, they integrated this with agritourism. This is a picture of a group of tourists getting on a bamboo bike tour around Manila. The background, this is actually in Intramuros. Intramuros is it's an old city. Actually, this was built by the Spaniards. The Philippines has been colonized by Spain for over 300 years, for 3 centuries. So they built a city within a city. So this city, Intramuros, is now a tourist destination, and the promotion of the bamboo bike tour, eco-tour experience is being done in Intramuros. So these are just a few examples of using P, the first P, planet, in enterprise development. Second, of course, is people. The second P, all right? Caring for people. Again, this is very straightforward for permaculture enterprises because caring for people is part of the values that we promote. And probably the easiest thing to get into is to sell food, right? Because we grow food. And as you've already experienced, if you're really serious in growing your own food, there's so much surplus, right? And a lot of permaculture, let's say, sites and farms started their businesses or enterprises and supporting their monetary needs in terms of selling their own produce. So what we did as a farm is we also integrated with other organic vegetable growers, and we came up with a project called Farm to Tray. So what is Farm to Tray? Farm to Tray is a partnership between a local organic association of organic vegetable growers in our province and the association of hospitals in the province also. So what we're doing essentially is we're providing their commissary, their kitchen with the vegetables, organic, chemical-free vegetables that they need. So them, rather than purchasing the vegetables from the market, we deliver the vegetables directly to them. Because in the Philippines, it's really hard to get access to commercial organic vegetables. So if you want to purchase authentic organic vegetables, you need to go directly to the farmers. That's how it is in the Philippines right now. So the doctors realize that. It's quite ironic that they are in a medical institution and they're serving food that's packed with chemicals to their patients, right? So they realized that and they partnered with us. So we've only started this project and we've piloted with a few hospitals. But once we are in full launch, we should be able to serve 1,700, on average, 1,750 patients on a weekly basis, including the medical professionals, because the staff, the doctors, the employees of the hospital would be eating in the cafeteria of the hospital, and with a total of 35 hospitals. So this is a first in the Philippines, and we hope to pilot it in our province and hopefully replicate it in other provinces as well. The farm, Habilin Farms, is a partner also of the local agriculture agency in the Philippines. We are a learning site for agriculture, so they send, let's say, students to do benchmarking. They use our site as a venue for training, mostly for organic farming, because permaculture is also still very new to the local agriculture agency. So education, teaching also is a form of people care, right? So that's why this is something that we got into as well. This is part of the plan in the future. We don't have it yet, but actually this is a picture of a yoga session, a yoga class that was held in the farm. It was more of like a trial and see, just to see if it actually would work and to see the response of the people who tried it out. But eventually we would want to conduct like events, experiential activities for visitors to the farm, and probably even hold like wellness retreats. People can eat healthy food, farm-to-table meals, do yoga, meditation sessions, forest therapy, which isn't new to, especially in Japan. Arts and crafts, therapies is also already a thing. Sound meditation and herbal therapy. So those are just a few of the examples that we have in mind. Next, third piece, passion. So as the experts would always say, start with a business that you really love to do. All right. So this this is something that we incorporated as part of our business development framework to do what we love to do. And I love talking about permaculture. Okay, it became a passion of mine because it transformed me. It transformed the way I look at things, the way I live right now. I'm not considering myself an expert because I've been doing permaculture for just 4 years. I'm sure a lot of you here have more experience than I am. I'm not really, an experienced educator when it comes to permaculture, but I can talk all day if we talk about permaculture. That's the topic, right? And I love talking about it. So, since I love talking about it, why not do it as an enterprise? So, actually, the farm evolved into an agri-tourism destination. We didn't plan for it. It just happened because there are a few things that isn't really that there are a few experiences in the farm that can't be experienced by a normal city dweller, especially during the pandemic, wherein, let's say, or post-pandemic rather, wherein everybody is looking for a place to go to that's close to nature. So it all started with friends of friends, relatives who just wanted a weekend getaway. All right, rather than going to the beach or going to a place where there's so many people, they just want a place that's chill, that's close to nature. That's how it started. But eventually, the local tourism agency caught, or rather, they caught the farm into their radar, and they started promoting us as a place to go to. Without us knowing it, they just posted pictures about the farm, and that same week we started getting like calls and messages asking if we're open to receiving guests. All right, so it just fell into place. So this is me doing a tour around the farm, talking about permaculture. So the way we educate people into permaculture is just to show them how it's being done in the farm. And I love doing the tours, especially showing them all the indigenous vegetables, or rather indigenous edibles that normal people would not know about. Okay, so we have this one tour in the farm. It's a foraging tour. So I just tour them around the farm, show them all the different vegetables. We let them try those different weeds, right? And then after that, we get into a place where we talk about all these different ingredients, most of which are indigenous, okay? And we cook them together. So it's more of like a community cooking activity and experience. Because I also love food. Actually, my inspiration, my entry point into farming was really food. I didn't know anything about growing food, but I love eating. Right? And during the pandemic, if you love to eat, you need to grow. You need to know how to grow your own food, right? So that's how it started. And of course, bamboo. We do a lot of community activities, partner with other agencies in the promotion of bamboo. This is us doing a workshop on bamboo propagation. So slowly, it evolved into a training enterprise. Fourth P is proficiency. Again, the business experts would say, start a business that you're good at, right? Again, I won't claim that I'm an expert in permaculture, but what I have a lot of experience in is consultancy. So just a little background, before I started the farm, I used to run a digital marketing agency in Manila, and I've been a digital marketing consultant for over 2 decades. So I know how the consultancy business works. and I know how to help people solve their problems, right? So that's what I'm good at. I mean, because of experience. So again, I capitalized on that proficiency. I capitalized on that expertise, and started offering permaculture consultancy services. Again, I didn't plan for it. It just happened. So, but what I did to, because when we started posting pictures, content on social media, people started to approach me and ask me questions. In fact, there are people who asked me if I can help them as a professional. So what I did before I started doing that, I took a course in Oregon State University. They have this program called PDC Pro. I think it's a 12-week program, intensive program. It's a course that prepares you for a profession in permaculture, either as a consultant, as a designer, or as a teacher, right? So anything, as long as you want to do, let's say, a business, or let's say a profession in permaculture, I would highly recommend this, because this really helped me a lot, right? Another thing that I did was I took my teacher certification course with Murad, design and teach permaculture. So because again, the permaculture is in the Philippines is very new. There's a scarcity of permaculture educators in the Philippines, especially Filipinos, right? There are a few educators in the Philippines, but they're not really local, like natural Filipinos. And I feel the best person to really teach Filipinos permaculture would be a Filipino. So that's why I really pursued this effort to earn a certification in teaching permaculture. And like to announce also to everyone that I'm launching a hybrid permaculture course for Filipinos in January. So I already have like 10 enrollees so far. So I'm very grateful for that. If consultancy and teaching isn't really your thing, find other things that you're really good at. I have a friend who owns a permaculture farm, just probably an hour away from Abilin. She's really good at creating soaps. So it's very straightforward. You're good at creating soaps or making soaps. Make one and start living out of it. Right. So this is the last P, prosperity. Right. I think one thing that's different between permaculture and an ordinary enterprise, or even a social enterprise for that matter, is prosperity. If you're familiar with the triple bottom line of social enterprises, you have people, planet, and profit. Right? In permaculture, we don't talk about profit. We talk about prosperity, because this is fair share. There was a discussion earlier in the other. I believe some of the guys here attended the other session, that there's a seemingly a contradiction or a dilemma between businesses earning money and permaculture. I would say they actually work together. They're very much integrated, right? Because running a permaculture enterprise is all about fair share, right? You solve people's problems, they reciprocate the value, right? I mean, the money that they pay you is something that you deserve because you did a good job, because you helped them solve their problems. And these people are very much willing to share that value to you, that monetary value to you, because they helped you. It's an act of gratitude. So let's just open ourselves to that gratitude that people are giving us. So that's how I look at prosperity. And in permaculture, of course, everybody's happy. When we talk about prosperity, like in our business, all the employees, all the people in the community all of our customers and clients, they're happy, right? And of course, the whole ecosystem, nature is happy as well. So just to summarize, these are the 5 P's of permaculture enterprises. You have planet, people, passion, proficiency, and prosperity. So before I end, a few more things. So as you've already experienced in the presentation, that the core enterprise of our permaculture farm is agritourism, right? Why? Because it kind of like blends all the other or connects or integrates all the other enterprises that we have. And it makes so much sense because we're able to practice all 5 P's of permaculture enterprises as an agritourism destination. So my vision is to turn permaculture tourism, get it into mainstream tourism, because that's the approach that we're doing right now. We're selling it not as a permaculture tourism destination, but as an agri-tourism destination, because it's a lot of people understand it more. When we talk about, let's say, sustainable farm living rather than permaculture living or permaculture lifestyle, that way we're able to reach out to those people who don't know permaculture yet. Because if we keep on just using the word permaculture, we'll only be attracting those people who know something about permaculture. So this was an award that was given to us, acknowledging our efforts in promoting the tourism in our location. Because when we receive guests, we also promote the other tourism destinations in our location. In addition, this was actually just in time to add this slide. We were also given this recognition by the provincial government as one of the outstanding micro enterprises in our region. And so far, for the past 2 years that we've been doing this, these are the things that we have accomplished. A multi-enterprise permaculture model. We have accomplished a total 14 trainings and workshops, 25 community engagements, over 2,000 tourists in the past 2 years, and 3 permaculture design projects. All right. So again, some additional resources. So Morag has been an inspiration to me. So I'd like to share one of the videos that we've been using also as a resource. You can check it out. It's in YouTube. 7 ways to create a living in permaculture. Alright, so before we end, I'd like to share this quote from Bill Mollison. So according to him, when we surround ourselves with diversity, we surround ourselves with opportunity. So in permaculture enterprise development, it's not enough to just have one. The permaculture design principle of having diversity also applies to enterprise development, because the more integrated enterprises that we have, the more resilient the business system is, right? So that's why opportunities abound in a permaculture site that has multiple diverse enterprises. Before I end, I'd like to invite also everyone. We're also signed up in YouTube, Wolf Independence. So you're very welcome to visit the farm if you happen to be in the Philippines. Pavilion Farms is like 3 hours drive south of Manila. So we have huts, mostly huts, built out of bamboo. So and we've been receiving volunteers in the past 2 years. So that's it. So thank you so much for listening. Let's stay connected. You can check out our social media properties on Facebook and Instagram. It's Pavilion Farms. You can also connect on Facebook. Just search Ben Francia. I'm the guy who's wearing that salakot. Alright, so thank you so much. Any questions?
Just wanted to make a statement. I feel like there's a lot more tension around the idea of money in permaculture in Australia than maybe in some other countries, and I really love the way you framed it as fair share, because it kind of is, like you wouldn't want to, like that's not that you wouldn't want to, but you've got to realistically have that exchange in chance for anything to happen.
Yeah, and probably just in addition to that, one other way of looking income generation in permaculture is generating a yield, right? So the principle of generating a yield is all about getting the things or building the things and generating the things that we need, right? And we need money, right? So this is one way of making sure that our system is stable, resilient, and sustainable.
Well, I kind of have something maybe to add. I'm not sure the question, but yeah, people also seem to understand like they pay what they get for. So maybe it sounds expensive to you, but maybe the people coming in don't feel like it's expensive. And if they're not able to pay it, then they could try to find it somewhere else. But your thing you're offering, they can't find anywhere else. So you can maybe look at it like that too. It's one of a kind.
Good.
On that same topic, like, how would you recommend pricing, like, this discussion? If you're the only person offering this thing, how do you think about how much you charge people?
All right, it's a good question. I'd always look at fair share. So first, as a business, I'd look at my costs, right? Then, because definitely I'd want to price the product or the service above the break-even point, right? Then second, I need to make sure that I get a profit, because the profit would be the one that would sustain the business, right? And another point that I'd look at is the capability of people to pay. How much are they willing to pay? Based on, of course, you need to do a little research, like how much people are actually paying for a similar product or a similar service. So, but one thing that I also apply, of course using fair share, is to be flexible also in the pricing and charge people based on their capacity to pay, on the amount of resources that they have. It's not, I mean, it doesn't mean that you charge people less if they can pay more and charge people more if they can pay more. No, not necessarily. So I try to like strike a balance, because those people who are able to pay more are the ones really covering and paying for those who can't pay, right? So it's really about like fair share. Sometimes, let's say for our tours, we charge like half the rate for the locals, because the locals normally can't afford to pay that much. And for those people who come from other locations, since they're able to spend on transportation already, it makes sense that they can also pay for the full rate. Is that?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about like that. Any techniques you can offer for how to do this, like difference in price, like between people. Like some people do scholarships or this locals, or how can you say, oh, you're making less, so I charge you less?
That's very hard. I mean, that's very hard. I'd like to answer that question from the perspective of the farm, because I haven't really started doing permaculture courses where normally scholarships options are available. But for the farm, normally you would have a feeling already if they really can afford it. For example, if let's say a tour would be coming from a public school versus a tour from a private school, normally the kids or the school from the private schools can afford more because they pay a relatively higher tuition fee versus let's say the public school kids. Anything else?
Can I ask how long did it take to reach the break-even point, and then you start to implement it?
Good question. Actually started doing well with with the finances just this year. Just this year, 2024. So as you can see, so it started with it started 2020. So end of 2020. So 21, 22, 23. And 2024, that's the time I started really generating income. I mean, making a lot of business sense. But for you to understand, the first 2 years, I wasn't really treating it as a business. I wasn't really treating it as an enterprise. It was really more of like a project. It's actually this is something that I look at as a retirement plan. It was really more me investing. Most of the expenses were out of my own pocket. I never received any external funding, or let's say money from relatives or family. On the third year, when I looked at the numbers, oh, I've been spending so much. Been spending so much. Then I told myself, I told my wife, told her, next year we'll make it even. We'll start to break even next year. Then the first quarter of 2024, she was telling me, you're spending too much money already. So the tone started to be different. But still, she was very supportive. But I guess it was only that time that I was very conscious, that I started to treat it as an enterprise, as a business. My learning from that experience is that if you wanna like benefit from it as an enterprise, you need to treat it as an enterprise. So the sooner you treat it as an enterprise, the sooner the income would start flowing in. That's my experience. Yes, 4 years. So again, it's a permaculture system. It's something that needs to be built, that needs to be designed and redesigned for it to reach a certain level of maturity. And I feel it was only just this year that we reached that level of maturity as far as the business system is concerned. So that's why it was only this year that we started early. Any other questions?
Tourism isn't generally seen as very sustainable anything, long term. I mean, it's also risks involved, changes in the general environment, travel, etc. Do you have backup plans for when tourism isn't cooking?
One thing I learned from the pandemic was the online businesses were the ones that thrived. This year, there isn't really a lot of other options, and I feel getting an enterprise that's digital or online based would still be not just a backup plan, but probably part of the main plan. So that's why, number one, the permaculture training program that I'm offering is like a hybrid program. Like part of it is online, part of it is offline. So I still have the option to offer it as a full online course if something happens, like a pandemic, volcano eruption. You know how it is in the Philippines. Like here in Taiwan, they were saying that they got like 6 typhoons in the past month. All 6 typhoons passed through us first. We're the front lines.
We don't have the tall mountains.
Yeah, so I mean, if something bad happens, another pandemic, another typhoon, or I don't know, zombie apocalypse, we want to be ready. So we have an online shop that we built so that we can sell to directly to consumers, specifically the products that we're producing. So that's part of the backup plan. More? Right? So thank you so much again. Let's take a photo. Thank you.
一刷可